Today, John and I are going to be exploring a fascinating question. Is the NFL a religion? We'll look at how closely the NFL resembles a religious practice by examining some of the rituals, enthusiasm, and strong community ties among the players and the fans. We will discuss how fans celebrate, the traditions they follow, and how these games create a strong sense of belonging. Let's dive into whether the NFL is just for fun or if it means something deeper to the players and the fans. Let's get started. First, we thought it was important to share our definition of religion. We proclaim that religion is a set of beliefs and ideals that create opportunities for gathering while also dictating the way that one lives their life that has benefits for the individual, but also the community. The collection of rules and guidelines stem from a sincere belief in a divine being that has some sort of role in the creation of the cosmos. When we were nailing down this definition of religion, we thought about a few key points. We looked at how religions are not just personal, but really shape communities, bringing people together under common values and traditions. We also thought that it was clear that religion offers a moral compass, guiding individuals on how to act and make decisions that align with their beliefs. On this slide, we introduce our central question and goal for today's discussion. Many football fans passionately describe their dedication to the NFL in terms that resemble religious fervor. But what exactly do they mean when they say the NFL is their religion? And what do the players mean? Is it just a figure of speech, or is there something deeper at play? Our goal is to closely examine the relationship between pop culture and religion with a specific focus on the NFL. We'll explore whether the intense commitment, rituals, and community experiences associated with the NFL align with the broader understanding of what constitutes a religion. By the end of our presentation, we aim to provide a clear perspective on whether the NFL can genuinely be considered a religion based on these criteria. Let's delve deeper into this comparison to understand the elements that might elevate the NFL beyond just a sport for its most dedicated fans. Moving on to our thesis. So we present our thesis, which serves as the foundation for our exploration today. We argue that the NFL, similar to other facets of popular culture, can be viewed as an implicit religion. This concept suggests that while the NFL embodies many characteristics typical of religious experiences, such as ritualistic behaviors and deep emotional connections, it lacks certain key elements that are fundamental to traditional religions. Our analysis will focus on these missing components and evaluate whether their absence prevents the NFL from being considered a true religion according to standard definitions. We'll explore what makes something a religion and then compare these criteria to the cultural phenomena surrounding the NFL.
So starting with implicit religion is an idea that was coined by Edward Bailey in 1969. He originally called it secular faith, but his wife suggested that he changed it to implicit religion. This is still an idea that is known today, as the Edward Bailey Research Center helps scholars to pursue this idea in their research. The idea of implicit religion can be summarized by this quote: "It takes a particular interest in the ways in which people were expressing markers of faith, of belief, of ritual, either towards or within parts of their everyday lives." The scholars behind implicit religion also claim three pillars that define their idea: commitment, which is defined by the level of commitment by a group or community that is willing to make sacrifices for their religion. Second is the integrated points of focus, which are the aspects, rituals, or material artifacts that grant purpose and meaning to the lives of followers. Finally, the last pillar is the intensive concerns with extensive effects, which are the issues that are caused by the sacrifice and the level at which the community is willing to solve these issues, even if it requires a massive cost. Now looking at the NFL in terms of implicit religion, fandom of the NFL definitely seems to embody this idea of implicit religion and has aspects that can be placed in each of the pillars. First, the commitment involved by fans that dedicate time out of their days to support their team. People take time away from their families and jobs to support their teams, and apart from the games each week, consume NFL media that's based on their team. The integrated points of focus are also prevalent through the purchase of merchandise, which can create a sense of community for the owner. If I see somebody in a Chiefs jersey, I instantly feel a sense of community and connection with that person through our shared experiences and love for our team. There are also intensive concerns with extensive effects. as fans spend a lot of money on tickets or subscription packages, which require great sacrifice that force them to deal with the monetary issues caused by purchasing tickets. People fly great distances and spend hundreds, if not thousands, on tickets for their teams, which could cause money issues. However, they choose to deal with those issues instead of not buying tickets, as made example by the $419 million spent on jerseys in 2023. Fans are willing to go to great lengths to feel a sense of community surrounding their team. As an example of someone that makes great sacrifices and deals with the consequences is Chiefs superfan Chiefsaholic. He recently made the news because he went on a bank robbing spree in order to fund his love of his team and the expensive season ticket costs. He chooses to make a massive monetary sacrifice and find a solution to his issues, even if it's a bad solution, instead of leaving his implicit religion. So now moving into some of the case studies, looking at what we've covered in class and how it relates to our question, starting with Emil Durkheim's definition of religion for our investigation. His definition is from his Elementary Forms of Religious Life from 1915, states, "A religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things. That is to say, things set apart and forbidden, beliefs and practices which unite into one single moral community, called a church, all those who adhere to them." When comparing the NFL to Durkheim's definition of religion, there are definitely a few boxes that can be checked. The fan base is certainly united, wearing similar attire in support of their team. Even if they don't support the same team, the fans are united under football. There's also a deep sense of community at these games, as many temporary friendships can be created. And the games are all set apart from all else, as there's no mistaking a football game from anything else. The atmosphere and community is unlike any other gathering opportunity. However, the sense of moral code is missing from these events. Fans don't leave games with a code of moral ethics that they bring with them for the rest of their lives, as a traditional religion might give them. This sense of morals and a moral code is an essential piece of Durkheim's definition of religion as well as our own, which prevents the NFL from being viewed as a traditional religion. Now, moving into something else, another case study that we looked at in class, the Church of Maradona. Now, the Church of Maradona is particularly relevant since Maradona was also a famous sports figure, and there's actually a church, as people claim, that celebrates the life of Diego Maradona. So we're going to watch a short clip from that that describes the life of the church.
En el 2001 dijimos, vamos a darle forma a esto. Y había que poner un nombre. Yo quería poner una peña, un club de fans. Y el nombre, bueno, si Diego fue distinto, hay que hacer algo distinto. En el nombre de la Tota, Don Diego, y el fruto de su amor. Diego, Diego, Diego. Teresa Maradoniana es un homenaje en vida al más grande jugador de todos los tiempos. Muchos te dicen, ¿y por qué se la agarran con la religión? ¿Por qué se burlan de Dios? No nos burlamos, es lógica pura. Para los argentinos el fútbol es una religión, cada religión tiene su Dios. Bueno, Dios del fútbol es Diego.
So when we compare the Church of Maradona to our definition of a traditional religion and intrinsic religions, we find that the Church of Maradona checks all the boxes to be an intrinsic religion. Similar to the NFL, as seen in the video, the followers follow a strict dress code as well as many rituals in order to celebrate the life of Diego Maradona. He is a central figure in their religion that creates a massive cultural attention to his life and his soccer career. However, similar to the NFL, there's distinct lack of moral and ethical codes that would allow the Church of Maradona to become a traditional religion, much like the NFL. There is also no described purpose or role in the cosmos which aligns with our personal definition of religion, which stops the Church of Maradona from becoming a traditional religion. Moving into the last case study, we talked about the Star Trek fandom in class, and today we're going to look at a study from Michael Jindra on the development and the way that Star Trek fans have become their own intrinsic religion. Jindra speaks about the worldwide fandom online and in person about Star Trek, how dedicated these fans are, and the true rise of these organized communities based on the TV shows and the movies and the media that come with Star Trek. There are even communities that help people start their own communities for Star Trek and conventions that offer opportunities for gathering. Similar to the Church of Maradona, these events all align with our definition of an intrinsic religion, but are still lacking that moral, ethical code that a traditional religion requires.
So this article that we found on Medium discusses whether or not American football could qualify as a religion. Throughout the article, it does argue that it could be a religion, as there are rituals with devoted fans and players that play with intense passion. And while it does meet some of the more functional elements of religion, we feel that it misses a key component, which is the lack of a divine figure or answers to the cosmos that we feel be necessary for us to correctly qualify it as a religion. In this second article titled Football is a New Religion in America by Douglas Bisson, he argues that football is like a religion in America with devoted fans, special rituals, and the big role that it plays in people's lives. And the difference is that he argues that the fans see top players as their potential saviors for their teams, similar to how religious figures are revered. John and I interpret these potential saviors as more of charismatic individuals rather than divine figures that they can look up to and pray to and answer some of the more important questions and existential questions in their lives, such as why are they here? What is their purpose? Where do they go in the afterlife? Which is where we differentiate with this article.
In the third article that Jack and I found, titled Implicit Religion and the Use of Prayer in Sport by Stephen Isenena, takes a different angle by looking at the use of prayer by athletes while they're actually playing football. Isenena agrees with us that football may not be an explicit religion, but for a different reason. Athletes praying for secular goals like performance, enhancement, and victory is different from religious prayer because it has different intentions. The common use of prayer in sports highlights the importance of secular pursuit of victory, which is different from the traditional religious beliefs that would categorize football as a religion. And Isenena argues that because prayer is used for a more secular goal, the religious aspects of prayer are not necessarily emphasized, which makes football more of an implicit religion than a traditional religion.
When it comes to football, you've got your fans, and then you've got super fans.
It's gonna get nasty, baby. Can't wait to see you. Let's wrap up that Reynolds wrap.
Keith Kunzig is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers diehard, but on game day, Keith goes by another name.
Big nasty. 35 years, man. It's never gone away. Or they'll get lazy and they'll just say nasty.
Nasty himself has become a fan favorite, an unofficial Bucs mascot, posing for pictures on his way into the stadium.
I would say hour to hour, 45 minutes, and when we're winning. So it's fun. It's humbling, but I'm also getting older.
Across the country, some younger fans were born with Broncos fandom right there in their names.
My oldest is Braxton. He just turned 11. He's named after Tyrone Braxton. His name's Marshall Vaughn, so he's named after Brandon Marshall and Von Miller. And Miley, and her name is spelled Mileigh. So if you take away the first H, her name spells Mile High.
Danielle Pursley's home is a testament to her team, outside and inside.
And then I've got, the team photos random cups from the games because why not? Why wouldn't you save those? We have a orange-blue Christmas tree that I don't take down. I just move upstairs in December.
Down in Dallas, Mark Shenfield wears his love for the Cowboys on his sleeve and on his back, hence the nickname Tattoo Mark. Back in Tampa, Keith is gearing up for his last season as Big Nasty, putting on the face paint.
About an hour. I get wet wipes. I can get it off in 15 minutes. Sometimes you forget you have it on. Be driving and I'm like, what the hell are you looking at?
But all that paint and years of Bucks losses are worth it.
But it's very humbling to see, fans come up when they were little and now they're adults. I get a lot of that now. So, and then they got babies. So it's really neat to see that.
And neat that they got to see a Super Bowl win just a year ago. As for which team has the biggest
These quote-unquote super fans are perfect examples of what the scholars emphasize in their articles. They see football as a special place that takes place on a specific day with strict dress codes that really brings people together. And it's very similar to the Trekkies that we discussed earlier that obsess over this film, and it takes up a big part of their identity. These people all reinforce the scholars' claim that football could definitely be considered a religion based on the many functional aspects listed above.
In talking about the greater purpose of our research, we think that the definition of religion, especially when it comes to defining pop culture as a religion, should be more specific. Our definition explicitly states that religions require a story of creation and grant people a greater purpose for being on earth. However, the literature that we've reviewed highlights religious aspects of pop culture and defines it as a religion from there. We think that in order to keep the idea of religion separate from pop culture, a religion must include the entire definition, not just certain aspects of it. If everything could be considered a religion, the idea of religion would lose its meaning, which would be devastating to the scholarship behind religion, which is why keeping the definition of religion specific is highly necessary.
So as we conclude our presentation today, we agree that the NFL, much like other cultural phenomena such as the worship of Maradona in football or the fervor of Star Trek fans, serves as an example of an implicit religion. This means that while it may not fulfill necessarily all the criteria of a traditional religion, it definitely engages many of its followers in a way that closely mirrors religious behavior. And since the NFL commands such a strong following and has such a profound impact on the lives of its fans, it's truly undeniable. And through rituals like game day preparations, fans viewing, and the wearing of team jerseys, a lot of the fans and viewers exhibit a level of commitment and engagement that definitely parallels a lot of religious practices. And these activities certainly foster a sense of community and strong identity among the fans, like John mentioned earlier, serving functional aspects typically associated with religion. But it's important to note that the NFL, we acknowledge it as an implicit religion. It does not diminish the significance or the genuine devotion of its fans. Rather, it highlights how deeply sports and popular culture can certainly influence our lives, sometimes fulfilling roles similar to those traditionally played by religions and providing community, identity, and shared experiences.